Here, Scott's going back to work, aren't you?
Yes, I'm going to work Monday. I will work tomorrow. I was telling Ellis before we started recording, I'm working from home and have been working from home. I guess it's been 4 weeks now. And so Monday I'm going back. Well, so we don't work on Fridays, but like today I was done and I got a phone call or a text from somebody wanting me to clock back in and do some more work. So,
Well,
I did it, you know. But I get paid the same. Everybody gets paid for 40 even if they're not working. So it's kind of like, oh well.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, well, not good for me because I clocked back in, but whatever. It's okay. I told my employees, and this I think is good advice for anybody out there. I told my employees that in something like this, it all depends on the company. And if you go in and you go, I believe the company is going to try and do their best to do the right thing, then you just go with it. And you go in knowing that somebody's going to get screwed. It will
Yeah,
not be fair. However they do it, it won't be fair. I mean, because like my work, some people are working from home and stuff like that. But their whole goal, and they're very upfront about this, we're trying to keep the company in business after this.
intact. Yeah, yeah. You guys
Yeah,
weren't.
we lost a lot of business because of this, and
Yeah,
so that was the thing. But we have to keep taking care of our customers, and so it's so I told my employees, some this will not be fair to everybody, and I hope it's not us, but if it is, just I just want you to realize the company's going to do their best they can, and it won't be fair. I've seen it, and it happens all the time with just different things. It's not that the company doesn't intend to be fair. In fact, sometimes it's that they're extra fair to certain people,
yeah.
and it's not out of favoritism. It's like, it's like there's a tornado that came through one time, and the power was out, and so a bunch of people got sent home. And so they said, well, we'll call you when the power comes back on. Well, my boss said, hey, can you hang out for a minute? Because I had a flashlight. And he said, can you hang out for a minute? I need to get some stuff on my desk. Well, while we were messing with it, the power came back on.
Hmm.
Well, nobody came back. And because they had told them they'd call them, well, nobody called anybody. And so they ended up paying everybody. Well, I got paid too, but I worked all day.
Yeah, yeah,
So I mean, but it wasn't like they were trying to screw me. It's like,
yeah.
well, they were being fair. They were doing the right thing.
You were just within arm's length and got pulled back in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, but here's the thing, though. There are plenty of times at my work that it's like, well, I'm not busy. I'll work on a personal illustration or something. I'd never work on freelance work on the company time. Not that I have freelance work, but I mean, I've done like illustrations for my website and stuff.
yeah. Sure. You've
On
used some office supplies here and there and things like
yeah. I mean,
that.
oh yeah, I've made copies, personal copies for and it's like, So I don't. I try not to complain because in the end, I figured all kind of evens out.
Sure.
You know, and I just, I mean, and honestly, I mean, this is a little cliche, but I mean, my concern, and maybe I'm a chump, but my concern is that the company does stay in business. I believe the owner is, we're owned by an individual, but he's a fair guy, and you see some of the other companies, just laid off a bunch of people and stuff, so and
That's the best kind of way to be employed, even though, like you say, the fairness gets doled out unevenly because some people get along with that top tier a little better than others, and
sure,
that's just the politics of it. It's like
yeah,
if you've got some way that makes you somebody's favorite, that's just the way it is. That's life. But
yeah,
in most cases, it is the benevolent dictatorship that you can't have probably in government, but you can have in that little microcosm of your life. That is,
yeah.
if you get the enlightened king, it probably is a good way to live for us serfs.
Well, I mean,
Until that moment that you become the wild entrepreneur yourself,
right.
you are saying I am a wage slave. So you might as
Yeah,
well have the
I'm
might as well have
punching
the
the
best.
clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my work is. I mean, there are problems with it, for sure. There's a place locally that I don't want to get into too much into the weeds, but there's a place locally that hires artists, pays more, and has some better benefits and stuff. As soon as the pandemic happened, they laid off all their
Yeah.
artists.
Hobby
And it's
Lobby.
like, well, I wasn't going to name them,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
they. If I worked there, I'd probably make more. I'd probably get more vacation, but I'd also be without a job now.
Yeah. Sure.
So and I mean, I'm in management. I mean, I'm lower management or middle manager or what. I don't know what you call me, but so you know, you kind of and part of it too is you can't be in management and complain about too much stuff because you don't want you don't want to be the kind of boss that all your that depresses all your employees.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try and be encouraging to my employees and tell them like, hey, and I'm upfront with them. Hey, it's not fair, but here's how it is. I tried to prime them for it. So, but
Sure.
anyway, yeah. So Monday, because we're in Oklahoma, I am going back to work. I mean, I've been working. I'm gonna go back to the office, and there's a whole procedure that I'm not real through. There's a bunch of stuff I'm getting word of that I'm not liking, but whatever. Again,
Hmm.
they're gonna take our temperature with a one of those point thermometers. Not crazy about that and having to wait and do that crap, but it's for the good of everybody, and they're going to pay us the way they will pay us while we're waiting in line to do this.
Uh
So
huh.
in our cars, you know. So hopefully it's not for more than a couple weeks.
Well, I hope things go smoothly, and I like it because it is saying edicts be damned from on high. We're opening back up.
Well, I mean, in Oklahoma, this is the
We don't
this is
have
the
the
date.
edicts. Yeah.
Yeah, they've said this is the date that you can go back. There's some stuff I'm going to wait on. I'll be honest with you. I already told Michelle because tomorrow's the last day. The May 1st, the state Oklahoma is pretty much open. I think there's still some stuff you can't do,
Hmm.
um, and there's some stuff I'm not going to do. I need
Yeah.
a haircut, but I'm
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna
yeah,
stay
like
out of there.
everybody. What I'm gonna. I mean, I like my barber lady. She's great. In fact, I've considered just letting my hair grow for a little bit, but I know she's probably hurting for the money, so I'll wait a couple weeks and then go in and get a haircut.
Sure.
When I feel it's you know.
I got to say though,
Um,
I have pretty well convinced myself that a couple of the colds I did get came from what little contact I have. I'm able to point at saying, "Well, I got that cold when I went there," and it's like
yeah.
I probably have caught a cold from a barber before, a couple,
Oh
maybe a
yeah.
couple of them. So it's
Yeah.
not like it's not a place to catch something from.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, I like my barber lady. I've been going to her for years. But yeah, I mean, she and we're I consider her a friend, and I'll be honest with you, when I go in, I may pay 30 or $40 for a haircut.
Sure, sure,
Just
sure. Yeah,
because
give her a tip.
just yeah, and I mean she charges 12, so and I usually give her a 20. So, you know.
Yeah, that's what I do. I give about at least $5 tip when I go get a haircut. Yeah, someone's
I
going to
don't
have a
know
lot
what
of evening out to do. Evening out. That's usually used in a totally different way. Evening out. Let's go have an evening out. I mean
Oh yeah.
a trimming to consistent levels is what I mean by it. And when I get my next haircut, because I've suffered through 2 self-administered haircuts. So,
Oh, see, I haven't done mine myself. I've seen
yeah.
a lot of people online, and they all look terrible.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
I've cut my hair in college. I cut my hair all the time,
Well,
but
I've got to. I'm cutting my hair in a way that most people can't. Which is to uh, cut it right down to the bone, all evenly. And most people don't want that look. You probably shouldn't want that look. It doesn't look all that great, but it's what I walk around in.
Well, my hair, if it's real short, I think it looks good, and then it goes through a period where it looks really funky, and then it kind of lays flat, and it looks good again. It's back in the good, and I'm actually considering like how long can I get away with. So I may wait. Except I miss my barber lady. I thought about just going to her and giving her a 20. I go, I don't want a haircut. It's just a
Yeah,
20.
Here's that tip I
Here,
owe you.
just yeah, yeah. Please don't close up. And here's $20. But I don't want a haircut yet. Yeah. So do you want to talk about the Joker?
Yeah, let's talk about that. You've got a Blu-ray version of it, and I just saw it on an Amazon rental because they practically forced me to. They gave it to me for $2.99. So
Oh my gosh!
So I rented it, and it was fun. It was really well made. It was a beauty to look at. Timothy Best says, Yo Ellis. How you doing, Timothy? Timothy?
Oh, I was just looking to see. I didn't see. Oh, there we go. I didn't see anybody chatting, but yeah, there he is. I thought it was really good. It was funny because everybody was like freaking out about it because they thought it was. Do you remember Falling Down?
Yes.
With Michael. Yeah. I don't know if you watched it. I don't know if you watched it lately.
I've only seen it when it came out. Robert Duvall and young Douglas. Young Douglas.
Michael. Young Douglas.
He was young back then.
Young Douglas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael Douglas in it. That's a movie that is not aged well.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
The library has it. You should watch it again.
That would be interesting.
I watched it because I saw the library by me has it, and I've watched it in the last 6 months. And you couldn't make that movie today because I mean it's a guy that lives in California and works in the defense industry. I can't remember if he gets laid off or he's just having trouble at work, but he's in traffic and he just gets mad, and it's very
he just boils over. He snaps. Yeah.
Yes. And I think there were a lot of people that thought that was going to be what the Joker was like. And it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't. Because in Falling Down, Michael Douglas is played fairly sympathetic. But I never thought the Joker was necessarily sympathetic, at least not once it got rolling. Did you think he was a sympathetic character?
Not particularly, but they did pull off quite a bit of reflection when they delved into the fact that his superhuman power seems to be able to take beatings, and it turns out that he may very well have developed that dark man ability to not feel pain at one point in his life because he had been traumatized so much from a very early young age that he has blocked all of that out. He is able to. As he comes to know, I guess the most philosophical thing they're saying is that for Joker, his reality is what he creates, and that's what he's come to for himself to be as happy as he's ever going to be. Is that what he creates in his head is what he's going to go out there and live now. We learned that he is delusional and everything like that. But this is how he copes with it, and he's going out in the world now. He's going wide, and he's going to be crazy, and we're just going to have to deal with it. I guess Batman's going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't know that this will ever be part of canon though,
Yeah, you don't
but
think
it doesn't
that?
need
I
to
don't.
be.
They probably won't make a Batman Joker movie. I wouldn't think. Not with this sort of
No,
tone. You know. That
no,
just
I
either.
liked it. I loved
Well,
the well
it's
the city. Yeah,
well, it suffers from the exact same thing they always say about DC films. It's too dark. You know.
yeah,
This is supposed
yeah, but
to.
it works in this case.
Yeah, in this case, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it works as a standalone. I don't know, and I have no idea what they're planning for the next Batman movie. I don't know if Joker's even going to be in it.
Who and we
Uh,
know who Batman is, though, huh? The lighthouse guy.
yeah, yeah. Who I would have thought couldn't have pulled it off before seeing the lighthouse, but he may be able to
Yeah.
pull that off.
Well, I haven't seen Twilight. All I know about him is Lighthouse. I thought, well, that guy's pretty good.
Well, I haven't seen Twilight either, but you know, it's not a good resume builder for a
Yeah,
Batman film. I don't think. You know,
it's a cropper. Okay.
but yeah, I enjoyed Joker. You know, I told you I picked up the Blu-ray because I wanted to see it. I've had it for a while. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I like a lot of you know, everyone says, oh, it's like Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, which I don't think is anything like King of
Which is
Comedy,
weird.
and it
Yeah,
was
it's
the
not like
only.
King of Comedy.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like King of Comedy, except I mean, he wanted to be a comedian, but I mean, there's a lot of movies like that. Um, and he was crazy, and maybe that's it. He was crazy and he wanted to be a comedian, but I I liked it. You know, you could do worse than to imitate Taxi Driver.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Taxi Driver is one of those really special memories of a film I have where when I came out of it, it was like I was stepping out of a dream.
Oh
It
yeah,
really felt like that because of the that great music. I think that was the last soundtrack that guy that did so many Harryhausen things, Bernard Herrmann. Herrmann.
oh really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that was his last
I think it was
soundtrack.
his
I got
last one. It was. It says at the end, specially dedicated to Bernard Herrmann. And of course, Scorsese later on had occasion to use Herman again because he Harriman, I guess is how you say it, because he did Cape Fear, which Harriman also did the soundtrack for. Did the
oh
remake.
yeah
Hmm. But anyway,
the
but the thing that got me and grabbed me the most about Joker was, the Joaquin Phoenix performance. I guess he really is one of those guys that is doing things that, that's the reason they get paid the big bucks. Basically, they go out there on a limb that other actors you probably have to coax them for a couple of weeks to get their nerve up to go places he goes. Like in a way that, and plus you got to be you got to bring a lot to the thing to get it done to where everybody else is saying, yeah, that's what we need here. You gotta
yeah.
sell it. You gotta sell it just like anything else. You gotta show somebody what you're going to be up to, and everybody's got to agree on it and everything like that. And
It's funny you say that. I watched and I thought about this in the podcast we recorded the other night. Not you and I, but Dave, Barry, and I.
mhm.
I watched I watched that documentary Future Shock about 2000
I think
AD.
I started on that. Yeah.
You had mentioned it, and I said that's on Amazon Prime. I'm going to watch that, and so I watched it, and it made me want to watch. Well, it made me want to watch the movie Dredd, which I have, and not watch Judge Dredd, which I don't have. But
Mm-hmm.
they were talking about the Judge Dredd movie, and they said the writer of the Dredd comic said when I was at the theater, he said they didn't listen to him. They asked me for some ideas, and I gave them ideas, and they didn't listen to any of them. So but he said I knew I was in trouble, or I knew the movie was in trouble when I go in, and I guess he saw a preview, and like 5 minutes of the movie, of course, it's Stallone. He takes his helmet off.
Yeah.
Well, the conceit of the Judge Dredd comic, he never takes his helmet off.
Yeah. That whole idea of how often he has that helmet off. Yeah,
It's like he never wore it in the movie.
Carl Urban. Carl, how do you pronounce Urban? Urban, whatever he.
I think it's Urban.
Urban. He never takes it off, and that is.
Nope.
It becomes
that movie. By the way, that movie's a good movie.
Oh yeah.
I did watch that Dredd, which is the 2012 movie, not the one with Stallone. And I'd seen it a few years ago when I first got it, and it reminded me. Have you seen The Raid?
Yes, that's a good movie too. Yeah.
There were elements that were seemingly ripped from there. There was some stuff like that where you're like, okay, but it wasn't. It was a part of the movie, but it wasn't the whole. There was more to it than that.
Working your way from level to level, which was what Bruce Lee. I don't know. I wonder how many movies have been made like that in the Orient before, where people have worked their way from level to level, fighting every inch of it. Because
there's a martial arts movie like that, not the Bruce Lee one. Not the there's a there's a movie like Shogun Warrior or something like that. Not the robots, but the. And I think that's the plot of it is there's like ninjas. It's just like the Bruce Lee kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the Raid did not break any new ground with that. But it's the Judge Dredd thing was pretty good.
Yeah, I had a comment that I just wondered if I know it has to have caught almost anybody's eye with an eye for anatomy, but Joaquin Phoenix, he's got that weird, obviously he's got a weird lip from having been, what do you call a hair lip, a cleft palate. And, well, what you're supposed to call a hair lip, you're supposed to call it a cleft palate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm being a little insensitive there.
Exactly.
But he... So obviously he's got that he has to work with, and Stacy Keach had the same thing. He has a cleft palate, or had one. They fix them. That's the point, is they fix them. Of course, they were a pretty big mess when they were born. They sew them up, bring them together, and. But he also, did you notice how deformed his whole shoulder girdle was on his left side?
Oh my gosh. His skeleton's really odd looking. I know I don't know, I wonder what he weighed because he looked really.
Yeah, he brought his weight down to just muscle and bone. He the only guy that's ever done that much before has been Christian Bale. Have you ever seen The Machinist?
No, I've seen the stills of him though.
Yeah, The Machinist is fascinating. It's a story about guilt, and so basically he's starving himself.
Can't eat. Yeah, can't eat because he killed somebody.
Yep.
But he doesn't remember it, I guess. Apparently.
Yeah, I think there's something where he has blocked it.
Yeah, and he keeps having flashbacks to it.
Mm-hmm.
But. Started inking today.
Oh, you did? Excellent. Well, what are you inking with? What are your tools?
Right now, just Rapidographs and a brush pen for the big areas.
Pediographs.
I need to get I got a fountain pen I need to get working for a little variation in some of these lines. but I'm working myself into it. It's kind of the problem is I inked and then I penciled and then I inked, and so my the stuff tends to dry up unless you're using
Oh yeah,
markers, which I could use markers, but I don't know. I want to. Oh, there it is. Looking all over for my pen is right up there. Yeah, my fountain pen's not. It was working a few days ago, but it's pretty persnickery. I guess I need to mess with it. I messed with it today. I thought I was going to be able to get it working. But I have 6.5 pages penciled, and I have, which I feel good about, and so what I've been doing is doing tight pencils, and then I've been scanning them before I ink them. So I got a few pages. I got 3 pages scanned, real good scans of them. I'm even gone in and put sound effects on the. And they're on my webpage. By the way, if anybody's watching this, I've updated my webpage. You got to go check out my webpage.
I need to fix those links. I said, every link that allegedly I had in the.
Hang on just a second, Ellis.
Go ahead.
Hang on just a second.
Scott is probably retrieving something to show us. He's opening a candy bar.
What?
I said, you're opening a candy bar.
No, I was. I gotta do some lighting.
Okay.
Things. I had to close my blinds.
Got some setting sun coming in, huh?
Yeah, I need to close the window or close the blind. So I had to. Then I'm on the corded headphones tonight because since I've been working all day, I've been listening to the regular ones. So I think they're about dead. Or my AirPods, and anyway.
Are they cordless?
They're cordless. They're Bluetooth, and they're what I normally wear. But they don't land. They if you talk on them, they're pretty good. They'll last about half a day listening to music. But when we talk on the podcast, I tend to blow through them. And I knew I would tonight, so I just wore the corded ones. So a microphone, but
yeah, they had something anyway. on the typical Roku controller, which was some sort of shortcut thing. But the first thing you have to do is turn that off because your batteries on that Roku controller will just be like, well, we're dead again. You have to. I forget what it was. What was that feature that you have to turn off on your Roku controller if you want to keep a battery longer than 2 days?
Oh,
it was.
I've never changed. Well, hang on just a second. Here's my. Okay, so my TV is your Roku controller look like this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh? I never have problems with the
battery. I'll have to look up what I'm talking about. But there's something that you really just have to disable if you're going to keep batteries in the thing.
Oh, well, whatever it is, I'm not having that problem.
You're not doing it, yeah.
I'm not. I'm either naturally not doing it, or
I'm a total blank on what it was. It used to be, it was a kind of a dumb feature anyway. But oops, created a couple of layers. That's all right.
What are you drawing?
I'm just doodling character designs for this strip that's coming up. I could be working on a strip I supposedly actually mean to finish. I think I'll switch right now to paperback layouts because I've got the introduction written to my script book. I'm going to put out my script as a paperback and a Kindle version. So I'm tagging a little introduction on the front of it, and that took me a week to write. That was only like,
The introduction.
yeah, that was only like about, I bet you if it was typed out, it'd probably be 2 or 3 typewritten pages. It took me that long.
Did it just take you long to formulate your thoughts, or to get around to it, or
Yeah,
what was
it just takes me forever. If I have got a project to write, I if I don't have it kind of very clearly outlined, the outline itself gives me fits trying to decide what will go where. And that should be actually pretty easy. And as a matter of fact, one of the things that kick-started doing it was I just looked up essay conventions, and I thought, well, I didn't necessarily use it, but after the point of just getting started, that's all anything takes for anything. Just get
yeah.
started on it, and then it went pretty quick. But before then, I was just making a bunch of little notes on index cards about stuff I thought I wanted to say. And then I ended up working it all into it. It's kind of amazing. But the thing there is like, well, did I link it up though? Is it just me talking randomly? Does it make sense as an introduction? I decided it doesn't really need to. It is, after all, I'm just saying, here's what you have in your hands and how it came to be and all that, So
I heard somebody the other day, and I'm sure you've heard this. They were saying it was some kind of, I think it was some drawing YouTube, and they were talking about great is the enemy of good or something like that.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
this
yeah,
idea
yeah.
of you just got to do stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to get in there and start in. Yep. And then always be comforted by the fact that you're only writing when you're rewriting. So don't worry about it.
Yeah. So I read that Isaac Asimov book. Have you listened to any of it?
Not yet. I've got a couple things going, but not. I do have that kind of in the queue.
I gotcha. The new book is and I juggled. I have the worst time trying to find a book to read because I'll start it, and if it doesn't grab me, I'll dump it in 2 pages. But because I won't finish it. I know. I mean, I can go in knowing, but what I'm reading now is the novel by Roger Zelensky. I think that's how you say his name, called Damnation Alley.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Have you seen?
Oh, I've seen the movie.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, and I think I dropped a note on our thread when you were telling us about this that I did see. I think it's Zelazny. I don't know. Would that not be the way you could pronounce it? I don't know. Zelazny. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it is. Anyway.
But anyway, he spoke at OU, and I've seen.
Oh, that's right.
A couple of these guys that spoke at OU. And it amazes me how many little lectures I went to, and I think it's the influence of those guys I was hanging around at the time when I smoked most of the pot I smoked in my lifetime when I just got out of college. And I didn't smoke any the whole time I was in college, but when I was immediately after college, I smoked tons of pot. Kind of dumb, really. You're supposed to want to be getting yourself kick-started and going strong. I was dulling myself.
You were a late bloomer.
Yep. Oh, I'm the definition of a late bloomer. And
hey,
I'm still blooming.
Could be
yep.
Worse.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say you could be past your prime.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so I saw Sam Peckinpah present the most extended version to date of the Wild Bunch at OU at a lecture, which was very cool.
Oh man!
And and what else? Oh yeah, I saw Zelazny, and I saw Harlan Ellison, which was cool.
Oh really?
Well, the thing we missed out on, we probably should have really made an effort to try to get to. He said, let's all meet together at the chow place. He was going to be fed, wined and dined at some really nice Asian place he wanted to eat at. And, we were all invited. We could all been hanging out all evening long with Ellison.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. I always liked Harlan Ellison.
He's the guy I'm listening to right now. And Harlan is a narrator. Oh man, he can be hard to take.
Yeah. Some of those audiobooks, man.
Oh yeah.
The reader to me makes all the difference in the world.
Oh man, yeah.
I have audiobooks that I like just because the narrator's easy to listen to.
Yeah. There's a real sweet spot. You don't want anybody to be a dead fish or anything while they're reading to you, like a robot or something.
No,
but you also don't want them to try to win an Academy Award either. You want them to just give you a nice little taste of bringing it to life.
A little bit of inflection on their, and they're good.
I'd say 95% of all of those P.G. Wodehouse narrators were just great. Man, they were. I got so much more, even though I've read that big thick book, the most of P.G. Wodehouse.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun to read him too, but I really like the audio versions of those books. And I think I've gone through everything the library offers on P.G. Wodehouse.
Really?
Yeah, in audio form. Probably not book form, but even there, I would wonder if I haven't probably, by virtue of listening to all their audio books, probably almost listened to most of it. I'm going to stand up and just bring it over here and show everybody what I'm reading right now.
Tim Tay Best says he's the one that wrote "I Have No Mouth, But I Must Scream." Yes, that's Harlan Ellison. He wrote that. He wrote "Repentant Harlequin," said "The TikTok Man." He wrote "The Beast That Shouted Love at the Heart of the World." He wrote a lot of short stories.
Oh yeah. He's mainly a short story writer.
And I'm trying to think. I don't know if he's written any novel. Well, he wrote a novel called "Memos from Purgatory." I think that's him. That was his notes about joining a gang when he was a kid.
Yeah.
He basically infiltrated a gang. I think I've got that around here somewhere. I've never read it.
Yeah.
I know what you're going to show.
Timothy Best, he's the one that wrote "I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream." That's true. He also, Memos from Purgatory was introduced on an Alfred Hitchcock Presents. It starred Leonard, what's his name? The Koenig that played Mr. the Russian on Star Trek. What was his name?
Oh, Walter Koenig.
Walter Koenig.
Walter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was basically playing the Harlan Ellison character, the one who infiltrates. But Alfred Hitchcock introduced it without his usual gag. And he made a point of saying that due to the subject matter tonight, we'll just treat this straight, So that was interesting.
What's the best Wodehouse story to get? I'm looking. I'm going to get me one.
My God. You can't go wrong with any of the Jeeves stuff. But you honestly can't go wrong with any of it when you introduce yourself to the crew at Blandings Castle. He's not particularly old, but he's just kind of he's got a low wattage mind. he's just into raising pigs, and he's only got one pig. That's the deal. He's only got one pig. So anyway, there's the Blandings Castles. There's all the Jeeves stuff. Yeah, I'll start with those. That's the way I started. Just anything that starts with.
Does the order matter?
Not really, huh? No. Because I've been out of linear several times, and I never felt like I was anything but better off knowing exactly how this came out or whatever,
Okay, I am borrowing a story called Summer Lightning. It's one of the Blanding Castles ones.
Oh, that's interesting. I think I heard that real recently. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's on the. I'll listen to it tomorrow.
The relationship stuff that goes on between Jeeves and I should be able to remember his name. It's actually because I went through those first. I've got probably less memory though. So anyway, this is the book that you gave me, and we can see it's a 500-page book, but it's got the thickness. It's got the thickness of a 1,000-page book. Because these pages are really nice stock in it, and it's got about 30 stories in it, and it also, the very first story is really cool because I've read it before, called Trail of the Apache, 1951, and this is his first sail to Argosy, and right over here, almost to where I could reach over and get it, but I can't without coming loose from everything. I've got this Argosy because, you know, I was given I was given the note at one time or other that this was his first sale. I said to myself, I bet I could find that on eBay. And it took years. It took me, even knowing what it was called and the date and all that, it took me quite a while to find somebody selling it. And they weren't selling it as anything special. It was just one of their old magazines. So that was pretty groovy that I own this copy and I have already read it. I think probably one of the few I have read. I know there's others in here, like right here, there's 310 to Yuma. I'll be reading that. And this is where his career, where he kind of knew things were going to go right for him. 1953, a couple of months before I was born.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's what I'm reading. And Elmore Leonard, anybody that's an avid reader that hasn't discovered Elmore Leonard yet, get around to it. He's great to read. He just always lays it on.
I saw that book at a thrift store, and literally it was a quarter. And
wow.
I was like, how can I pass this up? And then I got it, and it's so thick, and I thought, you know what? The odds of me getting this read anytime soon are slim, but I bet Ellis would read this. And
I'm plowing my way through it. Yeah, it's great.
I knew that you would appreciate it. Yeah. So I thought, wow.
And speaking of Elmore Leonard, just this morning, after I finished off Joker, I watched I watched an hour and a half of Joker before I went to bed last night. I said, and then I finished it off. I finished it off this morning, which that doesn't diminish the experience for me. I don't know. Someone that's a purist might think you're crazy. That's no way to watch a movie.
Yeah, how can you watch half now? And I do that on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
circumstances.
Mm-hmm. So I watched it that way.
Better to watch it half and half than to fall asleep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You want to be paying attention to everything.
Right. Anyway, so what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Well, I was looking around for something else to see because it only took me a half hour to watch that. And I'm on Amazon. I'm on Amazon already, and I see Telem Valdez is coming, which I've seen a dozen or so times before. But because I'm reading this Elmore Leonard book, I realized, well, let's try this old Elmore Leonard out that I've already seen before, and it was just beautiful. I mean, the rhythms of it. I probably am so much more in appreciation of what Leonard does nowadays that he just made it seem like, wow, this is one of the lost great masterpieces. Everybody should watch this movie the usual way you do when you're just thinking, wow, this is a well-made movie. But it really is.
Movie again?
It's called Telem Valdez is coming. It
Okay,
may
I'm
be.
gonna
It
write that
may be.
down.
It may just. It may just be shortened to Valdez is coming. But I think the title always used to be "Tell 'em Valdez is coming."
I'm sure if I look for Valdez, I'll find it.
Oh yeah. And
You
Burt
said it's on
Lancaster. Burt
Prime?
Lancaster's the star.
Is it on Prime or did you rent it off of Prime?
It is
Is
Amazon
it free?
Prime. Yeah, it's Amazon
Okay.
Prime and it's free. Yeah.
Okay. I'll see if I can find it and watch it.
Yeah.
But you
Check that
recommended
out.
it.
Oh yeah. It's got a. It's got such a sweet ending that you must experience.
When I go back to work, I'm gonna miss my wife and I are running every day.
Oh man, that is kind of bad to give that up.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hate that. Cause yeah,
That's what I mean about what my lifestyle now, and I don't miss the alleged purpose one gets from work at all. Because
no, I think
I can do what I want to do, and just that. And if I'm not particularly good at getting good use out of my life, who cares? Most people don't get a particularly good use out of their lives, so join the join the crowd. That's all you're doing. Oh, I'm doing it without having to go through the usual amount of crap. Yeah,
well, I do like having money,
yeah. Money's good. Money's good.
but
Yeah, and I am always also, I'm always looking to make a little extra money here because I don't have enough money, but I get by. It's worth
well,
paying the price.
yeah, no. Well, hey, when this pandemic first happened, I thought, because we had a conversation at work, me and my boss, and I was like, "Are they going to shut the company down?" And it was basically one of those like, no one knows what's going to happen, but we know it's going to be bad.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I thought for sure I'd be out of work, and then I was like, "I don't know what I'm going to do," because I don't think
Well, it would
I
be
would have
odd.
trouble replacing my job.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know if you've sampled much of Scott Adams, but he's kind of an arrogant guy. He acts like, he's had it all figured out for a very long time, and he has. He made himself a rich man. He's a guy that you can't knock his achievements for himself,
Sure.
but so much of what he has achieved has been on that old model of newspapers, and he knows that the way he used to make a living is
Oh,
completely dead, and
yeah.
yet he has boasted so much about how he's he's one of those guys. Basically
Yeah.
he's built himself up in his own head about how omnipotent, how great he is at dealing with things that he's there to educate you about how you ought to be thinking and all that, which is great. That's the reason that I think we all are attracted to him. We think he knows a few
Sure.
things. But I tell you what, he may find his own coping mechanisms kind of challenged a bit when he realizes that a real regular paycheck isn't arriving. People, no matter how rich they get, they end up all of a sudden selling autographs at cons. No matter how,
Oh, yeah.
because like
Yeah.
Tom Snyder once, I remember him on his old show, saying, "Well, yeah, I've got a lot of money, but that can all go away." I mean,
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, I can vouch for that.
the moment that salary gets, it's like Robin Williams used to mock himself for all the money he went through on his drug habit.
Yeah.
Where he says, "Hey, like he was asking friends, hey, anybody got a job where I can make $200,000 a week?" You know,
Yeah.
that's why all of a sudden what he needed. I always wondered what kind of shock Johnny Depp has been suffering from lately, where he squandered a lot of his great success on just really going crazy with how he spent it. You know.
Oh, has he? I don't. I'm
Oh
not a
yeah, I think
big.
so. I think so. Yeah, I'm paying too much attention to this kind of crap, I guess.
I don't care. I don't
Anytime
care
you
enough.
think you know somebody about their personal situation, you've probably been paying too much attention to stuff you know nothing about.
Well, I just know that no matter what, and I've had situations where I've had windfalls that have been pretty good, and it's one of those deals where you're like, "Hey,
I
this will
got
go on
money.
forever. Hey, I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
money," and then
easy
you go,
money.
nah, "This is," or you think, "I've made it, and I'm now going to be. This is going to be routine for me," and I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, and literally you have an oil well, and
Yes. Yeah.
and and yet you know that that is not necessarily just always going to be ka-chunk,
No.
ka-chunk, ka-chunk, as they said in the Mad Max
Yeah.
movies. It's not always
Yeah.
going to be going.
No. Well, or like lately, the price has been horrible.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That's what's
yeah,
affecting
it's
you
like
right now.
yeah. Well, no, but I mean, I make that's not a big chunk of my income, but it is not a
I
nice
mean, yeah,
little.
it's nice to have as a extra.
It's enough. It's enough to notice for
Hmm.
sure. And I mean, you just have to. I don't know. You have to be careful.
Well, yeah,
I
but
th-
the same thing. You just if you were someone that thought that way that you had it covered, and I think I've been one of the ones saying, "Hey, man, you ought to just quit then. Just do what you want to do.
to, oh to
You've
to
got all that
me.
money."
Mm. Oh, I know better than to listen to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I never listen to anybody that gives me money advice. Well, and here if I were digging ditches of my work, I probably would quit.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah, you like your job.
but yeah, it's not that big a deal, and it is nice. There are times when stuff happens and you realize, oh, these people they're depending on me and they trust me to get this. There's a it, that's what I like. I like the idea that uh, that people trust me to do my job. It's like, oh, okay, you'll do this and you'll do a good job. You know,
Hmm.
and I don't have to justify my existence or my abilities or anything like that. It's just like, okay, he'll do it and take care of it. And I mean that's always nice.
Yeah.
I think it's nice at least. Some people might not, because the flip side of that is you get asked to do that occasionally,
It looks
and
like that inking's going
you.
real well. I think I'll make you a solo look here for a second.
Oh, are you going to?
Yeah, you
Oh,
want
it's
to?
slow. I wish. Yeah, sure. If you want to, I wish I
Once I figure.
had.
Oh, I got to
Once you
right
figure out
click
how to
on it.
do it.
Yeah, yeah. I got to remember. Hey, Fly Fox Pro says, "Hola, hola."
Hey, how's it going? How's it going? I've been watching the comments. I've been busy. I don't even know what time it is. Oh, have we been going an hour? Is it 8 o'clock
Just
already?
almost. It says we've been at it for 53 minutes. I guess we'll go until we go another couple minutes here.
The one of the challenges I've been having lately is this story. There's always it's like a James Bond thing. There's a start and like a short story to start it with, and so then you get to the main body of the story, and the main body of the story is a car race. I think I've talked about this, and it's kind of a homage to Cannonball Run, basically. And so since these are the angels, and then they're dressed in kind of jump like imagine like satin jumpsuits or whatever, like Farrah Fawcett was in Cannonball Run, or whoever that was. No, it
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
Farrah
yeah.
Fawcett. Anyway,
Yeah,
whoever that
she was
was,
in Cannonball Run. Yeah.
okay. And so I've realized I've had to go from, because I haven't drawn any superhero kind of stuff, and I've had to go from drawing the girls in kind of normal outfits to what's basically like jumpsuits, fairly tight jumpsuits. And I'm realizing, oh man, this is switching gears is more difficult than I thought. you
Oh
know?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. No, that's is that point about. I was pretty sure I need to do like I'm doing these sketches tonight on this one character, trying to get a feel for him. Like I've got the list of how I feel like he ought to be dressed and all that, and is basically the big picture of how he looks. He's in a leather jacket. He's got on biker chaps, and
Just DL.
yeah, DL, and I've got all these things built up about him that are, it's very clear, but I just got to be something I'm comfortable with. And so what I need to really do is to do a really good turnaround on him, make sure I got his proportions just nailed, and know everything about him, and then just be one of my favorite things to draw. It's like uh, Sherman, no, Sherm. Oh, there's one guy that wrote a great book on storyboarding that he ended up getting ripped off because everybody was having courses on storyboarding, and they were using his book, and it's like, oh, geez,
Oh, geez.
it's like, okay, everybody else is making the money on my book and my consolidation of. Anyway, he was a big deal storyboard artist on SpongeBob, and he talks about that. You really should draw that character just as much as you can stand it. Have it coming out your ears, so that when you take the task of storyboarding, which is going to be hard enough on your psyche anyway, that's the easy part. You can draw the characters.
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Well, you would think this is the fourth book I've drawn with the girls in them, and I did not do any turnarounds when I started. I probably should have. And they all have a little bit different builds, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to emphasize that, especially in tight-fitting jumpsuits. And so it's like, okay, well, one of them has bigger boobs, one of them's kind of heavy set, and so then it's like, well, is she too big? And I think the writer wants me to make her bigger, more,
Well, that's
and
cool. I didn't know.
I'm kind of resistant to that because he'll send me occasionally pictures. But like, well, yeah, and I'm like, I think he's given up on that. I think his idea of a big girl and my idea are two different things. But
Yeah.
I think he wanted it to be just not all just wafer thin model, image superheroine type characters, which I would have gladly drawn them like that, by the way.
Hmm.
There's a great speaking of image. There's a great interview that I listened to today with Rob Liefeld. He's
Yeah,
on. He's. I'm sorry. Do
he's
what?
he's a cool personality on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
He's pretty even tempered and all that. He can't be drawn into a whole lot of stuff. Well,
No.
he
Yeah.
seems that
No.
way to me anyway.
Yeah. I like Rob. Everybody hates on his art, which I mean, he's not my favorite. I'll be the first one to admit. But man, back in the day when he was doing X Force, that was about the time he was doing. Yeah, it was X Force he was doing. I remember I would that's when I got back into comics and I was reading. That was one of the books I was reading. And I remember there were a couple months where he wasn't on it, and I was always the fill-in artists were always terrible. And I don't know who they were,
They
but
didn't get it. Yeah,
no, they were, yeah, they, whatever reason, I remember I did not like their stuff as much as his.
that is
So, I mean,
that's a pretty tough job coming along and being the next artist after some wildly popular artist.
well, he came back, so it wasn't like he was quitting. He just needed a break. they'd have somebody else, and I remember it's always like, man, where's Rob at?
I read it.
But I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
well, I just remember, liking him, for what he was at the time. Anyway, what'd you read?
Well, he was an extremely young guy when you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Guys that are artists, you're looking at a lot of these guys that you like as artists, that they're the old guys that drifted over from EC Comics that are 50 years old by the time they're still cranking it out, keeping all the young talent out, basically, but by the fact that they are very polished and got years under the belt. And Liefeld is coming along saying, "Well, let's not wait for all that. I'm ready as I need to be." And he suffers from comparison to these guys that maybe knew a little more anatomy or something than he did.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's you're right. That's not really a fair yardstick to use against him.
If you're comparing him to some stylist that's really just got, when we talk about the 10,000 hours, they've got 100,000 hours or more than that.
Right.
Yeah, and he's working on his first work week. So yeah, it's a little tough to walk into that.
But I mean, the thing is what people always forget about comics is what matters is, does the comic sell, or what used to matter, I should say. Nowadays, I don't think they care, but used to, that was the thing. And if it sold books, it was good, and if it didn't, it wasn't good.
You would think they would care. Yeah.
No, I don't think they care at all based on their actions.
Isn't that weird, though? I mean, it is, after all, the farm team for something that's made them billions of dollars. I don't understand.
Yeah. I just think I don't know. I'm frustrated with the comic industry right now, and I say as I'm drawing a comic book.
Yeah.
But this is going to be an independent comic book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the only way to make a comic book nowadays, I think.
I own this. Well, co-own this. But
I've been drawing with a lasso tool.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I'm drawing with this lasso tool. I've been ages since I use this iPad for anything. It's other than just setting off the alarm.
Oh, really? You were hot for that thing for a while.
I was going crazy with it.
I'm back. I think digital tools are like that.
Well, I got a lot of distractions. I decided I had to do some writing, and I'm a kind of guy that can only do one thing at once. Right now, I'm distracting myself with I'm determined to get some use out of Blender. All of a sudden, I've had it.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why, but all of a sudden it just fascinates me. I guess I've seen enough people using grease pencil in Blender, but that's the thing. It's totally futile what I'm up to, because I can't upgrade to the version of Blender that lets me have that fun tool of grease pencil the way I want to use it.
I thought Blender was a 3D program.
It is a 3D program, but
what's the grease what's the grease pencil do?
You're drawing in 3D, which you can also draw very well. It's got a brush that's on a level of Manga Studio. What's the other name for that other than Manga Studio? Clip Studio Paint. Yeah.
Or Paint, yeah.
And it's a great little tool, and it's really fun to draw with. But I've seen just enough lately where it's just excited me that a guy could have a comic book style and then be able to turn and do all those hard things of having a background just at your fingertips that you can use over and over again. and have it be in a style that isn't fully rendered 3D. It is line art because it's lines. They're just turnable in space.
Oh yeah.
And it looks really cool, and it's something that appealed to me so much. But I'm looking into and doing the tutorials in a couple of cases and learning more Blender, and that's fun. That I'm kind of sideways getting into more knowledge of the Blender that I do have and can have until I upgrade, which is that mysterious period where when I actually have money to spend again someday, which is never. So, but there's
how much is Blender?
Well, it doesn't matter how much Blender is. Well, actually, Blender is free, but you have to have a computer that will deal with it. And right now, I don't have the OS to have the newest Blender, and I can't have an OS beyond what I've got.
Oh, my OS deal, don't you? I'm using Windows 7, and I have no plans on upgrading.
Well, exactly. And that's the way I should be. And I should not worry about it.
Well, yeah, because I'm using Adobe CS, and no one can tell me for sure if CS is compatible with, or CS2 is what I'm using.
It's not.
No one can tell me. Well, that I've heard that's what you said, and I don't know with Windows 10, so I'm just not upgrading. And you know what? I don't care. If it goes awry, I'll just push it off the desk and go buy a new one and start my own problems then.
Yeah, exactly.
But I only use Adobe for just production stuff, really.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not drawing in it, not here at least. So I hate to. I don't want to go to this. Oh, I got a subscription model kind of thing. Plus, the new Adobe Suite doesn't have Go Live. Go Live is what I use for my web page. I don't know what I'd use. I don't know if there's
these things, these rollouts. I just got done watching. I guess I've been on the movie jag. I guess lately I watched The Social Network. That's one of those movies that kind of stimulates a lot of thought. When you
Yeah, it's like somebody should have strangled this guy in college.
Exactly. We'd all been better off. But he ran into just the right kind of people at the time. That one guy that was the siren song that showed him exactly how he ought to be striving. And you look at that and you say, well, yeah, it's obvious if you want to be who he became, you follow that guy's lead, not your best friend's lead. So Zuckerberg was right, and he's totally wrong in terms of like being a person, maybe, but he was totally right about being a success.
Yeah, made lots of money, but ruined society. So one of my friends, the big thing is AMC has said they're not going to carry any more Universal movies because they're pissed off at Universal because Universal is going to do digital same day or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
for some reason.
There's a lot of that sort of stuff in the air right now because they've had some huge success during this period of releasing movies.
We've seen all the weaknesses in the system.
Yeah, exactly.
At work, we have a saying. It's like if you want to expose the rocks, you lower the lake. And so, like, for example, if you got a department that has, say, 10 people in it, and say they're putting together, say shipping, say your shipping department has 10 people in it. Well, so what you do is you go, well, everything's going smooth. Then you take out 2 people, and you go, oh, well, they're still going smooth. Let's take out one more. Take out another person. Then you go, oh, well, and you start by removing resources, you expose the problems, and that's what we've seen in this pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, we've exposed the fact that we could probably just get rid of an entire branch of government and be better off without them. Yeah,
that's always true.
Get rid of the House right now, and we might get on our feet.
but anyway, this guy was saying, well, I'm not going to go. I don't really care about going to movies. And one of their statements was, between everybody getting on their phones all the time. And my thing was, people have gotten so rude everywhere you go. It's not just the phones; it's everything. And it's like, I'm not looking forward to getting out among people.
Yeah.
You know. Hey, Fly Fox Foes comic book's coming out on the 1st, on May 1st, not May 1st. That's tomorrow, Friday.
Coming out on the 1st, yes. There's a story for a free anthology. That's the way to go, man. And he's got
I've done it.
He's excited, and AMC is going to die anyways. Well, I don't know. AMC puts out some good content. I like. Oh man,
I don't know.
I went on a jag on just. You mean
theater chain?
Oh, the movie theater.
The chain. Different people.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can someone get, if that anthology is free? How can somebody get it?
Yeah, tell us
in the chat, and then let's post it on the screen.
So I'll post it on the screen. Tell us all about that comic book.
Is there? I've done probably about a dozen or two anthologies. I worked forever with a company called Greyhaven Comics, and I get paid for any of this, but it was all anthology stuff, and some of the stories were good, and some of them weren't good, and they weren't free. They sold them at conventions, and it was fun. I met a lot of cool people. It was a way to get work out. It was a way to get. I mean, I'd still be doing them, except the company went belly up. Probably. I mean. That was the thing. Company went belly up and was like, what am I going to do now?
Yeah. Well, that's the deal. Yeah. You talk about short life spans on something. Working for a comic book company, man, that was always going to be shaky.
Yeah. I've done some stuff. I tell you what, I've redone my website lately. So if anybody looks at it, this is on there. But I did a book called Jack Spade. It was a superhero book like a straight up like Marvel Comics superhero book. Takes place in New Orleans, and I got paid like $20 a page to pencil it, and it was like a 15-page story, I think, and it never got published. The guy I don't know what happened to the book, but if that had gone on and I'd still be drawing it just because I thought the story was so cool, and I had so much fun doing it. And it was 15 pages. I didn't have to ink it. I'm not that big of a fan of inking stuff, and it was fun, and I like working on anthologies because there's a real sense of satisfaction. And I don't know how long your pages are. For Greyhaven, I think I did one that was like 15 pages, I think, but for the most part they were like 5 or 6 pages, and I enjoyed them because I'd get like 3 months to do them, and so but I always had to do inks. And there was no pressure really, not a real big deadline pressure, and it was kind of this immediate satisfaction of, hey, I got a story done,
Yeah, that is a good way to start on things. I think Warren did a great service in those early DC showcases of their horror anthologies. Yeah, that's a great way to dip your toe into understanding. For one thing, I'll give you a quick understanding. Fly Fox Pro says he drew a 6-page story. We're wanting data, Fly Fox Pro. We want to know the name of the comic book and all that. What's that?
Post it on the screen.
I did.
Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry.
That's all right. You probably have a delay. You have a delay.
My TV's watching on YouTube.
Oh, okay. That's a cool way to do it, though. Think of that big old screen. You're monitoring yourself on YouTube. That's pretty cool.
Well, it's 32 inches, so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That used to be pretty big.
Yeah, I saw somebody had pictures of something, and they had a one of those old console TVs. I think it was like in their basement, and they were talking about it.
Uh-huh.
And I said, "How big is the screen on that?" Because when I was a kid, they seemed huge, and they said, "Oh, it's 20 inches."
Yeah,
And you go,
yeah.
"Holy cow! It's a big TV. It just had a big screen."
It used to seem like it was just like, why are you doing that? You know, kind of a
Yeah,
feeling of like, is this a pointless bit of technology or something? But no, no. Well, I tell you what, it's like changing from cassettes, well, from changing from 8 tracks to cassettes to CDs.
yeah,
These progressions happen, and everything drifts away and dies. It's not like an 8 track wouldn't continue to work,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you
But
can't get anybody to put the format out. You know?
well, and my wife and I were talking about that because some technology is not good. 8 track was not a good technology
Yeah, yeah,
because it would switch sides or switch tracks on you.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Cassette cassette isn't a good technology. Cassette is not a good technology because it's you have to switch sides and you can't switch to songs.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you just put it in and you got to listen to it.
yeah,
Now they had auto rewind and some of that stuff where they kind of overcome some of that. But CDs were a massive jump up from that, in
yeah.
terms of technology. But see, like, I think albums haven't died or vinyl hadn't died because vinyl didn't really have that. You could you could listen to one song on a vinyl because you just put it in the grooves,
Needle drop.
and
Yep.
yeah, just do the needle drop. And but it's not convenient for, like, in a car, and I don't think they sound as good. But then in some ways they sound better, But that's a whole nother thing.
Well, Scott, we've been at it an hour and 16. It went by really quick. I guess
It
I
it
was
did,
into
man.
I was into the jabber, I guess.
Good
Um,
deal, man.
we'll
Good deal.
take it up again some other time, huh? We drew a crowd of
Definitely.
two.
Hey,
So
that's okay. That's okay.
okay, we'll take it easy, and I'll end the broadcast right now. You got anything else you want to lay on anybody?
No, I would just say if you're listening to this and you like what I'm doing or you want to check out some more of my art, I have updated my webpage this week. It's scottsaka.org, just like on the screen there. I would
Yeah,
love to have some people check it out. Just, no big deal. It's just got art on it. I've got some cool. I got some. It's mostly comic pages, but I've updated my portfolio at the bottom. I've got some cool digital illustrations I've done. Lots of cool stuff.
yeah.
That's it.
I will try to fix all these links at some point. And go back in and paste them. YouTube, I don't know what the deal is, but you can't cut and paste from what YouTube provides there and not expect the links to break.
Oh yeah,
Okay, well,
and they
and
make
we're
a
ending.
sign.
Yeah, something. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, here we go, ending right now. Come
Okay.
back next week. There we go.